Shaun Wright-Phillips said on Radio 5 Live, I believe it was this week, 9 times out of 10, if you give him 3 chances, he'll score 2.
What? 9 times out of 10, if you give him 3 chances, he'll score 2. Brilliant.
Here we go.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. Woo! It's Eat My Goal, episode 10, double figures. How did that happen? Double figures. This is Eat My Goal with me, Mike, and him, Dan. Yeah, 2 weeks in a row. Got it the right way round. Eat My Goal is a football podcast where we talk about Premier League and also some bits of Portsmouth back in the Premier League in their golden age. We also have some quizzes, which are great fun. Dan's currently leading our quiz series 3-2. We'll see how that goes today. How art thou, Daniel?
Very good, thank you.
Good. All right.
We should some sort of Shakespearean comeback, but
we'll kick off, as we always do, with the Premier League headlines. The 3 headlines we've got for you this week are: is Klopp for the chop? Liverpool lose at home to Leeds. I've got a little game for you on this in a mo, but we'll talk more about it. We'll talk more about that. Are Forest for the chop? See what I'm doing here with these headlines? It's good, isn't it? Forest, they seem to be on a bit of a comeback after beating Liverpool last week, but then went and got smashed by Arsenal 5-0, and they were pretty dreadful. Arsenal were good, but they were pretty dreadful. And finally, Chelsea were plop. I put were because it's the first defeat, but they were absolutely demolished by West Brom. No, by Brighton and Hove Albion is who they were demolished by. Was it 4-1 or 3-1?
4-1, yeah.
4-1. It could have quite comfortably been a few more as well. And they were really quite poor first 20 minutes or so, Chelsea. Didn't get much better throughout. What's your thoughts on those headlines? Should we start with, let's go in reverse order. Chelsea against Brighton. Were Brighton just great or were Chelsea just terrible?
Well, Brighton have been pretty good all season, haven't they? And and looked quite pretty good attack-wise. But I didn't expect them to beat Chelsea 4-1. No.
Trossard's looking very good, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Did you say that was Chelsea's first defeat, or?
First defeat under Potter.
Well, how many games? What, in 2 games, are they?
So he's been there 7 weeks, apparently. 7 weeks.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And coincidentally, Brighton's first win since he left.
Oh, okay.
So under their new manager, first league win under their new manager. So bit ironic, that, isn't it?
Yeah, but they were well and truly battered, weren't they?
Yeah. Had it not been for a couple of goal line clearances and a couple of last ditch blocks, it could quite comfortably in 7 or 8 easily.
What do you think to Potter getting abused?
A bit harsh, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
harsh. It's not as if he went to. I think they're kind of local rivals of Palace, aren't they? Or they're M23 Derby as Palace. It's not as if he went to them or even a club of a similar sort of stature. He's gone to one of the biggest clubs in the world. I think most people would have done, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and as he said, he left them in a good condition with some good players. And
good players, good finishes in the league. I think they achieved their highest Premier League finishes under him, didn't they?
Yeah.
A bit harsh, isn't it? But that's the fickleness of the football fan, of which we'll talk more about in a little while, actually.
Look at this light on my face. It's almost like a Post-it note that's just fallen down from somewhere.
Oh.
Anyway, I can give it an visit.
Forest beaten by Arsenal. So we talk about it every week. Arsenal obviously still doing well. Forest still doing pretty terribly. 23 players in this over the summer. Still no respite for them.
No.
Do you think they will go down?
just keep talking. Forest, absolutely. There you go. That looks really good, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
There's
a bit of snow in there. Got a bit of snow on the camera.
They're absolutely going down, aren't they?
Yeah, they're taking their time to make it gel, aren't they? But they're getting hammered. Getting hammered is not good. Right, let's talk about Klopp at Liverpool. I think I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans now saying it's time for him to go. I've also seen a lot of Liverpool fans saying ease off. What are you talking about, son? What do you think? Do you think he's close to it? Losing at home to Leeds this weekend and losing to Forest the week before. 2 big defeats, I would say. You'd expect 6 points from those games, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I don't think we need to sack him just yet, do we? Do we really? After everything he's done, what is the cut off? When do you say that he's shit now, and then he's got to go? Because he himself said, wait till the end of the season, see where we are then, didn't he?
All right, okay.
But yeah, I mean,
I think it's too early.
I'm not the greatest, not the biggest Liverpool fan in the world, but it's what? How many games in? 12, 13?
It's about that. Yeah, 12, 14. I think.
Yeah. 12. So maybe at least give him to halfway through the season and then see what's going on. Yeah.
All right. So if they lose at Spurs at the weekend, 3 defeats in a row. Bearing in mind how football is nowadays, you don't think there'll be time to.
Well, I think for all their faults, Liverpool are what's the word?
Well run.
Well run. Yeah, I can't think of the word, Mike. They look after people. What's the word?
Oh right, yeah. I don't know the word you're searching for, but yes, they're not a hire and fire sort of culture, are they?
No, they're not. So I think they'll stick with him, and I think they won't just make a rash decision just to bin him off just yet. But we shall see. It's Liverpool, it's Leeds and Forest, like you say, they're 2 bottom 3 clubs.
Yeah.
So losing against teams like that ain't good.
No, and I just think it's the nature of Premier League football at the moment nowadays is that despite what club you are, obviously they do have American owners. American owners came in at Chelsea, sacked the manager that won the Champions League. So there's not a lot of compassion from some owners in the game. So who knows? They do after Spurs, which obviously is kind of a must-win game for both teams. I think Spurs not on great form, Liverpool obviously on terrible form, but then Liverpool then play Derby, Southampton, Villa, Leicester, Brentford. Pretty easy run, really, that you'd like to think, and then away at Brighton. So it's a bit of a run that they could probably turn their season around. I would think if they don't pick up some wins out of those, it could well be. And that brings me on to my sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry, go on. I've ruined your little link, but
no, it's gone.
They've got quite a long injury list as well, haven't they? But then at the same time, you'd think, well, they're a top 2 club in the Premiership, in the Premier League, so they should have they should have strength in depth, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I don't buy that. When you're, like you say, one of the anywhere in the top 6, I think you should have the depth to cover most positions, I think. So I'm not having that, and you certainly shouldn't be having a weaker side than Leeds or Forest due to that. So on that note, I heard this on a podcast the other day, funnily enough, with Adrian Charles. Everyone loves Adrian Charles, doesn't they? Everyone loves it. Yeah, so he has a thing, and it's called I think his podcast is called Extra Time, but he has a little game that he calls the numbers game. And the way this works is how many games, I'll read this out. So the numbers game is this: it represents the number of consecutive games a manager can lose before he gets sacked. So obviously you'd look at the Premier League, and the most secure job would probably, without that, would be Guardiola, I'd say. Guardiola could probably have a healthy run of defeats before they'd start actually considering his position.
Mhm.
But what would you say that number is for Klopp? So obviously you feel that they won't, but if they then get to 3 more defeats, that'd be 5 in a row. Do you think suddenly then it might be? What would that number be from here?
Well, I think I think any top club. I mean, it's highly unlikely they're going to lose 5 in a row, isn't it? So if they do lose 5 in a row, then you would start thinking something isn't right here. Something's not working. Something's going on behind the scenes. Whereas if you are someone like Nottingham Forest and you lose 5 games in a row, then
they may stick with you.
Yeah.
Or even give the manager a new contract, which they did a couple of weeks ago.
So in answer to your question, I don't know.
You have no opinion on that?
No.
Okay. Well, I might bring that back up in future. We might have another numbers game if any other managers are struggling in the future.
Okay. Did you want me to give you it? What did you want me to give you? Did you want me to give you
just an answer rather than I don't know? I would say. Yeah, you did. I would say. I think if they lose 3 more back to back, bearing in mind one of those will be an FA Cup game against Derby. Sorry, an EFL Cup game against Derby. If they lose, so they've got Tottenham, Derby, Southampton. I think if they lost them 3, that would be it, wouldn't it?
Well, going back to my original answer, I did say that if they lost 5 in a row as a top club, then you would start thinking about. So,
all right, okay. Let's see how that goes. Right, so from Liverpool's iconic loss to Leeds at home to your iconic Premier League moment of the week. Have you got one for us this week? Are you just going to point at your nose?
Love
God.
Love that link. Right.
You froze
Okay, right. So I was thinking about my other iconic moments. I'm thinking that there's been a lot of aggression and violence in the ones that I chose so far. I've had Edison, not Edison. It was the first chap. Eduardo's broken leg.
Yeah.
Eduardo's broken leg. The Dyer Bowyer fight.
Yeah.
Dublin headbutt.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was a beauty.
So yeah, there seems to be a common theme. So what I thought I would do was this week would pick something nice as an iconic moment. No, it's not a joke. It's not leading into anything. It's not going to be a man getting a ball in the face or something.
It's not going to be Duncan Ferguson wringing someone's neck.
No, it's going to be. Now, bear in mind, I've downloaded 4 different backgrounds, and they're all shit quality. So let's just see if I can pick the least shittest quality one.
Right, won't be able to see it anyway because of that light on your forehead.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Di Canio. What's Di Canio do? Oh, yes. Okay, right. I remember this. But explain the Di Canio scenario here. What happened? This was a nice Di Canio moment, wasn't it? Not pushing over the referee.
So I could have picked Di Canio, shoving over Paul Alcock, but I chose him catching the ball. Do you remember what the what the game was? What happened?
I remember what happened. I'm trying to think who it was against. I remember it was a team in blue, so it was probably either Everton or maybe Birmingham. Was it? No, Everton. Was it Everton? Was it? Yeah. So it was out on the right wing, and there was some sort of collision, and a player went down. Was it the goalkeeper went down? I think the goalkeeper kind of came out, didn't he? And then the keeper. Who?
Paul Gerrard was the keeper. I don't think there was a collision. I think he just came out and he
pulled a muscle or something.
He did something. I think he did something quite nasty, didn't he? But
and so the West Ham winger then crossed it, and Di Canio was like 12 yards out, and rather than just put it into an empty goal, he caught it and said, "No, that's not right."
Yeah.
Very sporting.
Yeah, and do you know what the score was at the time?
0-0.
1-1.
Was it? Oh, fair play.
And do you know what it ended?
1-1.
1-1. And who was Di Canio's manager at the time?
I'm going to guess. Was it Harry?
It was, yeah.
Was it Harry?
Yeah. He wasn't happy.
Brains, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Paolo, got some fucking brain, didn't you?
Yeah. So there you go. So I thought I'd pick a nice one.
That was nice. That was.
Yeah. So next week we'll probably pick someone dying on the football field. Oh no, because that's actually happened, hasn't it? Let's not do that. Let's not pick that.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. That would be that might be good. That's not at all. All right, good one. I like it. Well done, Paolo Di Canio, on that. So we're moving on now, and we're looking at. We've done our all-time Pompey Prem team, which was a nice team. Got a couple of likes on that. Now we're going to look at our all-time Premier League non-Brits team. That is. That's the all-time Premier League non-Brits team. So any player who's played in the Premier League that isn't from the British Isles. And we said all Ireland, didn't we? So no Brits or Irish. So we're starting this week with goalkeepers, and we've bought 2 goalkeepers each. I fear they may be the same too. I've actually bought stats on 4.
Oh, mate, I've got loads of stats.
But I've selected 2. But let's hear your 2 first.
So the 2 that I've chosen, I've gone for the Nordic knobhead himself, Peter Schmeichel.
Woos! Pally!
Yes. And I've gone for Mr. Longevity, Petr Cech.
So I can confirm I have the same 2.
Excellent.
I have the same 2.
What a surprise. So shall I read? I've probably got better stats than you. I've probably gone into it a bit deeper than you.
Well, yeah, do. But before you do, you go into the stats. But before you do, my other 2 under consideration were Ederson and Alisson. And the reason being, they are both quality goalkeepers. I really like Ederson. I think he's incredible, and he may well in future go on to be better than the 2 we've previously mentioned. But I don't think he's there as yet. And of those 2, I do think Ederson is better than Alisson. But anyway, go on. Give us your stats on Cech versus Schmeichel.
I agree with everything you just said, by the way.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. So some stats for Schmeichel and Cech. Appearances, you might have this written down. 310 for Schmeichel, 443 for Cech. I did know, but if you disagree with any of these stats, I did notice I went on about 3 different websites and they've all got slightly different stats. And I thought, well, how can you
they're either stats or they're not, aren't they?
Yeah. Clean sheets, Schmeichel 128, Cech 202, which gave Schmeichel a 41% clean sheet ratio.
Yes, yeah.
And Cech was 46.6. Nearly half the game.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it? That is mad.
And shots to saves to shots ratio percentage. Schmeichel 76.9, so nearly 77%, and Cech 79.2, so saved almost 80% of the shots.
It's incredible.
Yellow cards. Do you know how many yellow cards they got each?
No. 21 for Schmeichel and 6 for Cech.
No, 5 for Schmeichel and 7 for Cech.
Okay.
And only 1 red card between them, which was for Cech.
Okay.
Cech conceded more goals, 333, but obviously played another 100 games than Schmeichel. Schmeichel conceded 287. And do you know, so what 3 clubs did Schmeichel play for in the Prem?
Schmeichel played for United, City, Villa.
Correct. And Cech?
I think it was just Chelsea and Arsenal, wasn't it?
Yeah. So do you know what Schmeichel's lowest finishing position was in the Premier League table?
Probably when was he playing for City? It was early 2000s, wasn't it? So I'd say probably with City and maybe 15th.
9th. So he never finished, and with Villa 8th. So he never finished out the top 10. Yeah. And Cech as well. Lowest Cech finished was 6th.
Incredible. Good stats. Good stats.
Hold on. I think I might have one more stat that's interesting. Oh, yeah. According to the Premier League website, which is where I get most of my Premier League stats from, which is where you'd think you'd get the best Premier League stats from, a Premier League website. Petr Cech made 24 errors leading to a goal. And
Okay, I love these.
Peter Schmeichel made 0, but he also only conceded 4 goals in the whole of his Premier League career, apparently, according to the Premier League website. 4 goals. He conceded 5 against Newcastle, didn't
he? Yeah.
Start. Yeah.
And I think that one season he got lobbed 5 times, didn't he?
Yeah.
By various people. I've got a few extra stats just to add in here. So Premier League titles, Schmeichel wins 5-4.
Yeah, got that.
FA Cups, Petr Cech wins 4-3. League Cups, Cech wins 3-1. They both won a Champions League, and Cech also got a Europa League in there as well. I think the Europa League was with Arsenal, wasn't it? I do believe.
Yeah.
2016, 15, something like that.
Pretty similar stats they've got.
Yeah. So who would you go for out of those? The stats go in favour of Cech.
Yeah, see, the stats do go in favour of Cech. Cech isn't a complete bellend, but I think I would choose Schmeichel for that fact, the fact that he is a bellend and that he is scary. Have you ever seen Gary Neville's soccer box?
No, that sounds wrong.
Have you ever seen those where he chats to an ex-Premier League star, they go through a couple of games, and he's talking about Peter Schmeichel, and he always says, he hated deflections. So you'd see Gary Neville get in front of a shot, and if it deflected and went towards goal, Schmeichel hated that. Schmeichel hated deflections. And I thought, well, what? How can you please this man if you're a defender? What are you supposed to do? Not get in front of the shot?
Away. Yeah. Did he hate deflections more than not closing them down in the first place?
Yeah. Oh, he hated deflections, Schmeichel. He'd go crazy if there was a deflection.
Well, see, I would. Here's another thing, and I probably would have gone with you, Schmeichel, but this is another thing. Just going on the stats, by the way, on the clean sheets. So I would argue that Cech probably played in a more defensive team than Schmeichel did. I'd say Man United were a more progressive team in that era, back in the late 90s. They played more attacking football, more expansive football, whereas Chelsea under Mourinho were very much known for shutting up shop and going for the 1-0, a little bit like Arsenal back in the day. So I'd say that may well have led to Cech getting more clean sheets. They were both amazing, weren't they? I remember checking his first couple of seasons at Chelsea. He was saving things he just didn't think was savable. They're amazing. But Schmeichel is exactly the same. A couple of incredible saves, particularly the star one against Inter Milan, I remember, was a phenomenal save.
Yeah.
And I think this is what gives them the edge over the likes of the newer goalkeepers. I know you'd say that the newer goalkeepers, Ederson, Alisson, are good with their ball at their feet, but a goalkeeper is a goalkeeper at the end of the day, and both of those were phenomenal shot stoppers, weren't they?
Yeah. And
let's
not forget that Cech introduced natty headwear to the Premier League as well. So
via the knee of Stephen Hunt.
Yeah.
That's funny what a fractured skull would do for you, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Right, natty headwear. Well, do you know what? I'm happy with either. I would have actually just slightly edged towards Cech just because the stats are in his favour, but I'm happy with either, and I think.
No, go on. You decide. Honestly,
the fact that you said I would have thought you would have gone with Cech, but the fact that you said Schmeichel, I don't know. It's difficult not to put Schmeichel in, isn't it? But let's should call it a draw.
We have 2 goals.
They can have half each.
Half each, yeah. Or we just toss a coin.
Shall we?
Yeah. Got a coin on you?
No.
Here we go. Right. What are we saying? Call it.
You could just pretend to toss a coin. Go off camera a minute, and then just toss a coin.
No, I've got one.
All right.
What are we saying?
Heads Schmeichel, tails Cech. It's Peter Schmeichel. It's the Danish I
The
couldn't think
Nordic
of
knobhead.
the Nordic knobhead's much better. The Nordic
Danish
knobhead is much better.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, Peter Schmeichel. Checks on the bench, I'm afraid.
that's fine.
That was a close run thing. I wonder how many more we're going to have to do with a flip of a coin. Hopefully not many.
No.
Peter Schmeichel is the first name on the team sheet in our all-time non-Brits or Irish players in the Premier League. All right, good start.
Lovely.
Good start. Next week, right backs.
Yeah.
Do right backs.
Yeah.
Be tricky, I think.
Yeah.
So Dan Podreski. It's my early shout. Dan Podreski. Quiz time. Yeah. Quiz time. This is the all-time. This is top tens. We're on a top 10 quiz. I think it's you to guess first this week, isn't it? I did your Darren Bent or whatever it was. No, it was Ray Parler.
Yeah, Ray Parler. Yeah, so it is me to guess first.
Yeah, Ray Parler Jr.
Yeah.
Right, I've got a good one for you this week.
Let me just do my usual. Let me just get Google up.
Right, so this is you've actually got 11 answers here. So I've kind of given it, I've made it a little bit easier for you. But on this quiz.
Interesting. So have you on the quiz that I've done. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that could be. This could maybe be another one where we've got the same ones. Let's see.
Hold this bit of paper here.
Hang on. Right. So my quiz is based on the 06-07 season. Is yours?
No, we're all right.
All right. Good. Right. Let me get a stopwatch up.
06-07. What's that? That's 16, 15, 16 years ago. Okay.
Yeah. Right. That's all. Yeah. That's all. Don't worry. It'll make sense. Yeah. So in that season, Portsmouth finished 9th in the Premier League. What I'm looking for is as many of the teams that finished below them in that season in 30 seconds. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Middlesbrough, Man City, Bolton, Sheffield United, Leeds, and Chelsea, Arsenal, Villa, Tottenham, Barnsley, Derby, Birmingham, Wigan, Reading, Everton, Fulham, Hull, Leicester.
Time's up. You did very well. What was the one you said before Liverpool? Sorry.
Leicester.
Incorrect. So I'll go in order. So Portsmouth finished 9th. They're second the best Premier League season. Teams below them were Blackburn Rovers. You did not mention Aston Villa. You did.
I didn't say Blackburn. Are you sure? They were the first ones that popped in my head when you were saying the question. I obviously didn't vocalize it.
Well, we'll see how it goes. But if it's the tie, or if I win by 1, we may have to go back and look at the tape, review the tapes.
Yeah.
Anyway, Villa, Borough, Newcastle. You didn't mention. Man City, West Ham United. You didn't mention. Fulham. You did. Wigan. You did. Sheffield United. You did. Charlton and of Watford made up the 11. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 11. That's not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. All right.
Okay. Right then.
What's this going to be? It's going to be something like left-footed managers.
Did you read that just a minute ago when I went like that? Right. So you
managers have got with one ear bigger than the other.
Yeah. You've got 30 seconds to name let me just get the old stopwatch ready. Right. 30 seconds. And you've got 11 on the list as well.
All right. Sweet.
So it's a top 10, but there's people in the same position, and there are 11 people in total. Can you name the top English goal scorers from last season, the 21-22 season, starting now?
Harry Kane, Antonio. Oh my God, I can't even think of English players. Reece James, Mason Mount, Conor Gallagher.
goal scorers we're looking at, by the way.
English strikers, Christ.
I'll give you another.
Marcus Rashford. No, he hasn't. He didn't score many, did he?
No, sorry. You've had 40 seconds now. But
all right.
Well, I apologise. I thought you'd. No,
that's terrible.
I think when I start saying them, you'll just.
Yeah, kick myself.
Right.
I think I got two.
You got two. You got Kane and Mount. So.
Oh no, Antonio.
Surprisingly, Reece James wasn't on the list.
He got a few goals last year. No Antonio.
No Antonio. So you've got Kane was top, then Jamie Vardy, Mike, then Raheem Sterling.
Oh yeah.
And then in joint fourth place was Jared Bowen, James Maddison, and Ivan Toney.
Right.
Then in joint seventh place was Mason Mount, Bukayo Saka, and Ollie Watkins. And then joint 10th place was Emil Smith-Rowe and Scummy Ward-Prowse.
Do you know what I should have done, which I didn't even think of doing? I should have just gone through the England team, shouldn't I? England squad in my mind, the forward positions. Mikel Antonio wasn't there because he's now apparently Jamaican.
Okay.
That would probably be why he's not there. Because I know he scored a number of goals last year, but
he identifies as Jamaican, does he?
He identifies as Jamaican nowadays. Yeah. All right.
Well, I apologise. I thought that would be. I thought you'd get a few of those, but your mind just goes back, doesn't it? Unless you're just naming teams like I had. It's quite, when you've got to name individuals, it's quite hard, isn't it?
It is. But never mind. 4-2. Plenty of time. Look at his little face. Look at his little face. So we said we're going to look at our early season predictions this week, Dan, and see how they're getting on. Do you remember what your early season predictions were? We both said.
Yeah. The only one I remember was Bournemouth for Champions League and relegation. Okay, well, we both said City to win it. I'm still I'm still very, very confident that's going to happen. Yeah. They're currently second, 2 points behind Arsenal, 1 defeat, 26 goal difference after 12 games. For goodness sakes. I'm pretty confident that's going to happen. So I think we're doing well there. Your top three consisted, your top four was completed by Liverpool, Spurs, Bournemouth. So sorry, always good to see someone yawning when you talk.
Yeah. So Spurs currently in third. That's looking okay. That's looking not so bad.
Right. Who did I say?
Great.
I said City, Liverpool,
Spurs, Bournemouth. So Spurs in third, Liverpool currently in ninth, and Bournemouth currently in 14th. I think. Okay. I said for the completing my top four, Arsenal, Spurs, Manchester United.
Well, that's not bad. Not bad, Shaun.
Yeah. Man United fifth, Spurs third, Arsenal top. Feeling pretty smug about that at the moment. Yeah. All could change. Your bottom three, I think we both kind of quite far off on this. So your bottom three was Bournemouth, Fulham, Saints. Southampton, well, just 1 point. Just 1 point outside at the moment. Bournemouth, they're only on 13 points, so only 2 points outside the bottom three. And Fulham are looking quite comfortable up in 7th, 19 points. So Fulham are probably the least likely, but I've also got Bournemouth, Fulham, and Everton.
Everton, yeah. Where are Everton? Are they doing? They're
mid-table, 1-3, lost 5, 14 points out of 13 games. So not great. Still could be drawn into a bit of a relegation battle, couldn't they?
Yeah.
You would think. They've lost 3 out of their last 5. It's quite good having this table up. It makes it sound like we know what we're talking about. It makes it look like we've got our finger on the pulse. But Everton, they're not out of it.
No.
Current bottom three: Leicester, Wolves, and Forest. Midlands. So, do you want to change any of those, or should we let's just stick with what we got?
I'll change, please. I'd like to change. I'd like to change Fulham for Nottingham Forest, please.
I don't know why I said that. I don't know. Do you want to change them?
Yeah.
Do you want to change? And then we'll look again on 37 games. We'll change again if we're nowhere near. just so we can show how great we are.
Bournemouth out. Mind you, aren't Newcastle in the top 4? No, where are Newcastle then? Aren't they?
Newcastle are 4th. Yeah, they're 4th. Yeah,
what
they're looking right. They've won 4 out of 5.
Season.
Although it could be the icing on the cake could be if Southampton go down, which they're making a good fist of that at the moment.
Yeah.
Just very briefly on that, back to the numbers game. How many games can Southampton afford to lose before Hasenhüttl gets the chop? Do you think?
Amit, what's their stats at the minute?
So they've won 3, drawn 3, lost 7 of 13, -9, 1 point above the relegation zone.
And when was their last win? I know they drew with Arsenal last week, didn't they?
Yeah, drew with Arsenal. They lost this weekend. I can't remember who against. But so they've not won in 2. But they've only won 1 out of 5. Palace, yes, correct.
Yeah, I think he's in danger, isn't he?
Do you reckon two more defeats and he's out?
Well, yeah. How long has he been there? He's been there 3.
Quite a few years.
Yeah,
about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. So I think you're in the danger zone there, aren't you? If you're hanging around relegation and you've been there a few years.
Big cost, isn't it? Big cost to go down.
Yeah, so, and get your big Sam in or whoever it is.
Steve Bruce.
Yeah, Steve Bruce. Yeah.
All right, that concludes Eat My Goal for this week. I have a little quote for you to end on. But before I get to that quote, obviously, if you want to follow us on Twitter or tweet us on Twitter, it is at EatMyGoal22. Please do. We welcome comments. If you want to email us, it's at 22. No, it's eatmygoal22@gmail.com. And on Facebook, we're at Eat My Goal.
Have we had any comments? Any abuse?
We've had some replies, but not any direct comments. None of them mention the podcast. I'm not sure, or even though it's called Eat My Goal Podcast on Twitter, I don't think people actually think there was a podcast behind it. I think it's just somebody randomly tweeting with the name podcast. So no, before we come to your final celebration, your goodbye celebration, got a little quote.
Come to that. Don't come to that because I've not got one. Okay,
we'll end on this quote then. Yeah. So this is Shaun Wright-Phillips, the logic of Shaun Wright-Phillips, the goal-scoring sensation that was Shaun Wright-Phillips. Hang on, no, Shaun Wright-Phillips was the winger, wasn't he? I'm thinking of Bradley Wright-Phillips, who was the American League goal-scoring sensation. Shaun Wright-Phillips said on Radio 5 Live, I believe it was this week, 9 times out of 10, if you give him 3 chances, he'll score 2.
What? 9 times out of 10, if you give him 3 chances, he'll score 2. Brilliant. Who was he talking about?
Ron Burgundy style there, isn't
it? Yeah. Wow.
I don't know who he was talking about. He was talking on Radio 5 line. I assume he was co-commentating on a game, but that's all we got. So we're done. Remember, tweet us, follow us, email us. Just listen. If you listen to it on 1.25 speed, it goes by in about 20 minutes, and it sounds a little bit funny. Funnier, because it's funny anyway. Right, thanks, Dan. It's been good.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.